here we have this Brinks resettable combination lock. I can't seem to find a model number on the packaging at all, except for possibly this number at the top right, the 165-50054. I purchased this lock at my local Walmart for about $8. This lock does have 4 resettable wheels, so this yields 10,000 combinations to choose from. Now that is a lot of combinations if you're doing a simple brute force attack. The main focus of the lock itself is going to be these 4 wheels. There aren't any windows, the wheels are placed directly in the center. And there's a strange feature with the wheel. I'm not sure if it's a feature or it's part of the design of the lock itself, but you can't go backwards past 0. You have to go if you want to get to 9, if you're at 0, you have to go all the way to 9. I'll go to 0, and then you can see you can't go back. On the back of the lock, there is a mechanism to change the combination. Now the back has 4 rivets. The front has 0 rivets. It honestly feels really, really cheap. So this lock probably isn't going to offer a lot of security. It doesn't say maximum security like most Brinks locks do. It doesn't say anything about security on it at all on the packaging. So I'm guessing this lock should be used for simple storage lockers or luggage. Okay, so to decode this lock, I'm simply going to place the shim into the small window to which the wheel protrudes. The back of the shim on this side is going to be placed against the back of the window of the case, and I'm going to apply downwards force on the shim and turn the wheel counterclockwise until the shim falls directly down inside of the case and touches the back side of the lock case. There we go. So that is our first number. Now again, the only mathematics we're going to be doing to crack this lock is simple subtraction. There we stopped at 0. Do it again for the third wheel. There we go, we stopped at 8. And finally the fourth wheel. There, we stopped at 6. So now again, the only mathematics we're going to be doing is simple subtraction. Now that we have the wheels lined up this way, 9, 0, 8, 6, we're going to subtract 3 from each wheel. The tricky one's going to be wheel 2, because again, you can't turn the wheel in a clockwise motion once you get to 0. So 9 minus 3 is 6. 0 minus 3 is 7. 8 minus 3 is 5, and 6 minus 3 is 3. So I hope that you enjoyed this episode of Pin Stack Smashing. Again, I am your host, Master Yale Quickset, and in this episode we successfully decoded and cracked a Brinks resettable 4-combination wheel lock. I hope that you have a good evening. Good night, friends. Aha! You have found me. Welcome to this bonus pick round that I call a TSA PSA. In this bonus pick round, we have a Travel-On luggage lock, which is TSA accepted. We see that we have the Travel Sentry logo on the packaging and on the face of the lock itself. This Travel Sentry logo means that this lock is in fact TSA accepted. So you may have noticed that there are 2 methods of entry for this lock. The first is the keyhole here on the bottom, which takes a TSA 002 master key, and the second method is to enter a combination. Now these 3 windows on the far side of the lock are where you actually enter the combination. Each wheel has 0 through 9 as a possibility, which yields 1,000 permutations, 000 through 999. The packaging actually touts that we can travel safer. Also, I can't seem to find a single model number for this lock anywhere on the packaging or the lock itself. Okay, so let's dive right in and see if we can't decode this lock, or at least pick our way into the lock using the keyway on the bottom. Alright, so I believe I have already figured out a way to decode this lock. It's very simple. Place the shim with the backside down against the metal window to which the wheel protrudes. Put downward force against the spindle of the wheel itself, and carefully turn the wheel until you feel the shim fall downwards. I have the shim at about a 45-degree angle, and as I'm spinning the wheel, I can't just spin one because of how small the wheel is. So once I get the click, there we go, right there. This landed on a 6 right here. I'm going to have to just simply remember that, because while I'm turning this middle wheel, I'm most likely going to turn the top wheels. Okay, this one stopped at 0, so I'm going to put 6 and 0, and the final wheel, there we go, stopped right at 2. So now what we simply do is subtract 2 from each one of these and place that number in the window on the side. So subtracting 2 from 6 becomes 4. Subtracting 2 from 0 becomes 8. And subtracting 2 from 2 becomes 0. So I hope you enjoyed this TSA PSA bonus pick round of this episode of Pin Stack Smashing. I'm your host and absolutely favorite YouTube lockpicker, don't you forget that, Master Yale Quickset. Have a good evening, friends, and good night.